Hello, friend. How are you doing? I hope you are doing great. So, I'm going to be doing something different today. So, I'm going to be having cucumbers. Yes. So, I'm going to be having cucumbers. And while I eat these cucumbers, I am going to be telling you a story. So, join me as I eat this cucumber, and you can also listen to my story. So, I just hope you enjoy it. Yes. Please watch to the end because I guarantee that this story is going to be very, very interesting. Oh, and before I forget, I've actually removed the seeds from the cucumbers because I don't really like the seeds. I don't like the taste. So that's why I just sat down and peeled everything. I removed everything. And diced it. So I'm going to be eating it like this. There was this day I mistook a sugar daddy for my Uber driver. Like, it was one of the most embarrassing days in my life. I opened the car door like I owned the place. I told him, "Hi, you can start my trip." He turned slowly, adjusted his glasses, and asked me, "Start what trip?" That's how I knew I was going to live at one of those God, I beg moments. In Nigerian parlance, it just means God, please, I can explain moments. Let me go more deeply into the gist. So I was late for a meeting. The sun was just so unforgiving. My Uber app had been glitching all morning like it was fighting some spiritual warfare, but finally, relief. A great Toyota Camry, plate number matched, parked right at my gate. I didn't even hesitate. I entered the back seat like royalty, crossed my legs, pulled out my phone, mentally already halfway through the trip. Then I looked up. And the man I was now sitting behind was definitely not wearing jeans and a t-shirt like the Uber profile showed. No, this was a full-grown sugar daddy in crisp white agbada and sweat loafers, sipping water like he paid rent for the street. I asked him, "Oga, you can start now." He turned and looked at me. "Start where?" I said, the trip." He said, "What trip, madam?" That's when I checked my phone again and saw it. My Uber driver was parked behind his car. I was in the wrong Camry. My throat dried instantly. My ancestors stopped breathing on my behalf. How do you explain to someone that I just entered their car like a federal government order? He stared at me with the calm judgment of a retired principal. No words, just vibes and quiet disappointment. I didn't even try to explain. I just whispered, "I'm sorry." Opened the door gently like I was trying not to disturb a lion, and stepped out with the humility of someone who had just sinned publicly. My actual Uber driver rolled down his window and said, "I saw you enter that one. I just dey observe." I said, "Maybe it's a family car." Sugar daddy was still watching me, like I had interrupted his meditation or tried to scam him. I avoided eye contact. Even my shadow was embarrassed. I sat quietly in my real Uber, praying the ground would just open up and swallow the entire street. But no, God said I must learn the lesson in full HD. Since that day, I check my Uber plate number like I'm trying to break into the Pentagon. Always confirm, then confirm again. Don't let confidence get you kidnapped. If you see Abada and water bottle combo, run diagnostics before entering. I'm telling you the truth too. Have you ever entered the wrong car before? Or have you done something that made you wish you could teleport? Let's talk in the comments. So here is my second story. I thought he was the love of my life, but he turned out to be a red canopy. I thought I had finally found peace. He was gentle, soft-spoken, smiled with his eyes. He read books, held doors, said things like "you feel like home." And I just started imagining joint accounts and Saturday afternoons with matching t-shirts. I told my friend, "This one is built differently." I didn't know I was the one to be dismantled. At first, he was all in. He would send long texts, deep talks, random voice notes just to say good night. He said he had never been understood like this before. He said my presence was healing. He said I was a soft place to land. I was floating. I was floating and tripping. What I didn't know was I was floating into traffic. Then, little shifts. Calls went unanswered. Conversation started feeling like I was talking at something that no longer wanted to be heard. I asked, "Are we okay?" He replied, "You are overthinking." And just like that, I began to doubt my own instincts. He didn't want to label things. He didn't believe in societal timelines. He said we were bigger than definitions. But somehow, I always felt small, unseen, like I was waiting to be chosen in something I was already inside. And then one evening, I saw him walking hand in hand with someone else. He smiled and said, "This isn't what you think." But it was everything I thought and worse. I cried, then apologized for crying. I blamed timing, the stars, maybe even my ancestors. But when I looked back, the signs were there, waving, screaming, begging me to see. Bad communication, vague future plans, and always disappearing when things got real. I had ignored every red flag, but this man wasn't just a red flag. He was the whole red canopy they use at weddings. Bright, loud, unmissable, and I still missed it. Healing came quietly, in the unfollowing, in the decision to stop explaining myself, in learning that love doesn't require translations or begging to be prioritized. I used to think he was the one. Now I thank him for showing me everything I never want again. Sometimes love looks like poetry but sounds like warning bells. And the next time, I will listen. If you have to guess what you are to him, you are probably single. So tell me, have you dated a red canopy before? How did you feel like? Were you able to break out from that kind of relationship? Let's talk in the comments. And that brings me to the third story, because I know you love gist and I love to give gist back to back. This is how I fainted at the gym and woke up to Loco-Z Boost and Gala. I joined the gym to level up, but instead I leveled down flat on the floor, sweating, lightheaded, and hearing someone shout, "Bring Loco-Z, bring Gala." 1 minute I was on the treadmill, next minute I was gone. That's how fitness nearly took me to the upper room to see my Lord and personal Savior. It all started with peer pressure. And then my friend who wakes up with abs said, "Let's do fit farm together." Me that had no business near iron or cardio said, "Yes, let's glow up." First day, I dressed like I was mourning my old body. All black, no stretching, no prayers, just vibes. The instructor said, "Today we are starting with HIIT." He didn't know I was there for just vibes and bants. Warm-up was already a fight for my life. By the time we got to squats, my legs were negotiating their exit. Push-ups. I pushed air, then despair, then silence, burpees. I saw Moses, Elijah, maybe even my grandma, but Ada was beside me, fit, glowing, smiling. I didn't want to faint in front of greatness, so I kept going. I didn't know I was jogging slowly towards unconsciousness. The treadmill was the final betrayal. First, my vision blurred, then my bottle missed my mouth, then my niece said, "You are on your own." All I remember was someone yelling, "This one don't they go?" And another voice said, "Loco-Z and Gala, bring them sharp sharp." Next thing, blackout. I opened my eyes and I saw one auntie was fanning me like a fallen soldier. A circle of gym bros were whispering. Gala was on my chest like offering. A personal trainer leaned in and said, just needed sugar." Ada looked down and said gently, "You try, Sha. Maybe start with YouTube workouts first." That's how I began walking around my compound with dignity. Small steps, no fainting. Have you ever embarrassed yourself in the name of fitness or nearly died trying to impress your fit fan friends? Because it happened to me, and trust me, I am not going to be trying to impress anybody again, especially when it comes to going to the gym. I will live to tell the story another day. I enjoyed eating these cucumbers, and I'm sure you enjoyed watching me too. Did you enjoy the story? Please like, subscribe, and share my video. Tell me in the comments, do you like cucumbers? Which other mukbang do you want me? Excuse me. Which other mukbang do you want me to shoot? Please tell me in the comments. All right, see ya in the next video. Bye.